Where were you born?
I was born in Storm Lake, Iowa.
Tell me about a place where you were raised or places you have lived until now.
Okay. So I was born in Storm Lake, Iowa. I lived there up until kindergarten, so about when I was about 7 years old. And then I moved up an hour and a half north to Lake Park, Iowa. And then I lived there from the ages of 7 to about 18. So I went through primary school there. And then after that, I moved down to Ames to attend Iowa State.
Thank you. Tell me about your family history.
My family history. So every single person except myself started off in Laos. They were all born there, and then they immigrated to the United States in the 90s. So there was their father, our mother, and my 3 sisters. How far back do you want me to go?
As far back as you
Okay.
want to.
So it's just us in the United States. Everyone else is still back in Laos. My mom is the oldest of 10 kids. There's 4 of us in America. Okay, let me rephrase that. My mom is the oldest of 10 kids, and she's the only one who came to America with her kids. So her kids are my sisters, 3 older sisters, Poi, Pat, and Mai. They are all in their 30s. Yeah, that's the
So were you saying that of your siblings, you're the only one that was born in the United
Yes.
States? So you're
Yes.
also a first generation.
like very, very first.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I'm curious, how has that been as you've been growing up?
Very interesting because I am, in our culture, age really depends on which generation you were born in and whose child you belong to.
Mm-hmm.
So with my nephews, although one nephew is younger than the other because their mothers, like one mother's older than the other mother, in their culture, technically the younger nephew is older than the younger nephew because of their mother's age range. So that's different. For me, I'm considered an older generation, so typically people that I'm trying to remember all of this. Yeah. The generation I'm supposed to belong to is actually older than me. They're in their late 20s, 30s, late 30s. So I kind of have like the respect of that generation. But because I'm 22, I hang out and I'm friends with the younger generation.
Gotcha.
So technically they're supposed to address me as an older person and everything. But because of my age, it's a little bit more informal. Yeah. So I tell kids like, the respect you're supposed to give me is like the respect you're supposed to give your aunties, like your mom's, friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the huge age gap between my siblings and I tell them it's okay. You can talk to me like a friend. I want friends my age.
Right. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So can you recall when you first knew you wanted to attend college?
I have been pushed to go to college my whole life, but it wasn't until about junior year of high school when I finally had to sit down and decide, do I actually want to go through with college? Is this realistic for me? It was, I think, about either my first semester or second semester of junior year when I started talking to college recruiters and everything, and really deciding, like, do I even want to go to a 4-year university, or do I want to go to like a technical school, or do I just want to go get certified? I was really thinking about doing court reporting for a little bit to just get a certification or something. So it wasn't until about junior year of high school when I finally had to decide, am I going forward with this dream of mine?
Right. How did you prepare to be the first in your family?
How did I prepare? I spoke to a lot of teachers in high school. I was surrounded by a lot of friends, parents who went to college or who knew of people who went to college. So I really voiced myself and let them know, like, hey, college is a huge interest of mine. So ever since I was young, the community knew that I really wanted to go to college. Once it got closer, about high school, that's when I started actually going out to college campuses, reaching out to the advisors and everyone. I didn't even know like what advisors were, so I would just call the university number, and they would just transfer me because they're like, hey, I'm a high school student. I don't know who I'm supposed to talk to, but I just got this phone number. Can I just talk to someone? So just calling anyone and anything and just voicing myself, letting them know what I want, and then they would just guide me there.
Yeah. All right. And what was the process like for you? I know you talked a little bit about it, but if you want to go more in detail.
Yeah, the process of finding a college or like deciding that I want to go to college?
Kind of all of the above, the process of becoming a first-gen student. So all of that, deciding on the college and things like that.
Yeah. My biggest thing about college was finances, so I had to decide first on how big of a risk did I want to put on my bank accounts, because I didn't even know about FAFSA, I didn't know about scholarships or grants, I did not know how any of that worked, so it's really putting myself out there. And then from finances, it went into how long can I stay in school? Like, can I really handle school for 4 years, or am I going to pursue more or less? So I just decided on that. After I decided how long I wanted to spend in school, I then decided on what career path I wanted to go down. I am interested in a lot of things, I have a lot of skills, but at that point in high school there's not much that I was too passionate about. It was just like, I can do all these things, but what do I really want to do for the rest of my life? So I had to talk to a lot of resources. Even coming into college, I still changed my majors and everything, so that's okay. What was the question again?
The process.
Let's see. What else did I do? Really, it was just finding the people who really wanted me to do well and succeed, and asking them, how can I get to the goal?
So I've heard this twice now. So you talked about deciding between a 2-year and a 4-year, and then you just said you didn't know how long you wanted to stay in school. So how did you decide? Because that is a big shift of I'm going to go for 2 years, or I'm going to go for 4, or if I want a technical degree, or if I want to go 2 years and then transfer. So how did that look for you, and how did you finally end up making that decision?
I was really influenced by some family members who told me, like, just go to a 4-year, because if you go to a 4-year, you pretty much cover everything else that you've been deciding, you know, instead of going to like a 2-year and then later on deciding if you want to do a 4-year and going to do that. You might as well just go through the 4 years. You're young, you have your whole life ahead of you, just go 4 years and call it good. I also saw, for personal reasons, I saw a 4-year as like a better outcome for me, gaining more resources in a 4-year school. Yeah, but I was really, really influenced by family members to just go through with it, get the 4 years done while you're young, and then go from there.
Thank you. So next question is, how did your community support you in your decision to attend college?
So like I said, I came from a very small community, so about 1,000 people in my community, and so they know me, they know my parents, they know every single thing about our history when we landed in America and came to the community, they know all of it. So from the very beginning, ever since I was in elementary school, they knew right away that I wanted to go to college. So they kind of like kept their eye out on me and kind of treated me like a family member, like, hey, I know this child really wants to go to school, and so I would just run into them, I'd bring something up a little bit, and they had all these resources for me. They told me about their personal experiences and whatever they needed, or they knew that I needed help with, they would just reach their hand out to me. And even until this day, like in college, I'll post on Facebook like, oh, I don't know what's going on, can someone help me? Like, those parents are quick to respond, like, hey, I know someone, or like, I've gone through this, or my kids go through this, I can help you right now. So, yeah.
That's awesome. How did you decide on your major?
My major. Man, long story. Okay. So I started off as a political scientist. It was definitely not the major for me, and I'm a very stubborn person. My ego is really high, and I put on the local newspaper, I'm going to Iowa State for political science, I'm going to finish with this degree. And so, starting off in college, I'm like, man, I really hate this major. But I already told the community, it's on paper that I'm going to school for political science, so I was pushing so hard to just finish off with that degree, just so like I can keep my word. And no one would ask me like, oh, why couldn't you go through with it? And then I took a sociology class my sophomore year of college, and I took that class just to better understand my family. It was the relationship of family class. And after reading the textbook, I'm like, I can name an individual. I can put an individual to each term the textbook gave me. So that's where my personal experiences came into this major. And I felt like my life is this textbook. Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not giving the sociology field my knowledge in this? Because I'm not a student just learning about different things. I'm going through these things that the textbooks are speaking of. So that's when I finally decided I want to pursue a sociology degree. And then I joined the NCORE I-SCORE program in my sophomore year as well. And I was surrounded by a lot of students who wanted to pursue student affairs. I've never heard of that, didn't know anything, and being in there for a year with all the students and faculty and staff members, it really inspired me to go into student affairs. And so I felt like I had a clear path. Like I went into the sociology, gained that knowledge, and then go straight into student affairs after.
Very nice. Share with me why getting a college degree is important to you.
It's important to me. So it's important to me personally because that was a goal of my family's when I was born. None of my sisters were able to get a college degree. My parents didn't even get a high school degree. They came to America and they went straight into working in the factories. They didn't have the opportunity to think about education. So when I was born, it was really on me like, hey, we're going to do everything we can so that you can get the education that we all came here for. So that's why it's important to me personally. And then it's also important to me because as a person of color, unfortunately society doesn't think that I'm very well educated. So just showing them that piece of paper like, hey, I have this education will help me a lot in what I want to do. So just, giving out that paper and showing them there's nothing you can tell me. I already have all this education. There's all this proof. So it's really just to get higher up in society too.
Thank you. How will life and experiences be different for you after college?
I've thought about this a lot. So I want to go into student affairs, right? I'm the first generation, everything. Going back to my community, even like Storm Lake, where I was originally born, there's not a lot of people who are able to get the education that I am getting now. So the people I want to help aren't as educated as me yet. So it's going to be really different because I have to simplify all the things I've learned in college and give them the education without overwhelming them. And that is going to be a very big challenge for me because even going back home now, I've realized like sometimes when I speak, it's like college language. Like I don't realize that they don't know some of these terms and everything. So I have to like take a step back and remember like, all right, where is their education right now and what environment am I in right now? And how will I bring them up in society and like have them join me after college without overwhelming them?
What identities are important to you? Please describe these and how they attribute to your current journey.
My Asian American identity is most important to me just because I am the very first person in the first generation born in America. So putting that hyphen American is extremely important. I went through the whole American education system. I did everything, but everyone else in my family have a different experience, so I need to respect that and remember that as well. Also, recently, just claiming like the woman of color identity is starting to become really important. I guess I was always surrounded by women, so I didn't realize how important it was. And then I came to college and I saw there's like men of color as well, and we're in a predominantly white institute. So after being exposed to all those things, I realized there are things that women of color go through that no one else will ever go through, and we need to support each other in that.
What does being the first in your family to attend college mean to you?
What does it mean to me? Being the first person in my family to attend college means that I am paving the way not just for myself and my family, but also everyone else after us. If I don't pave the road, it will be harder for everyone else in the future. So I'm hoping that I can just go through this so that no one else will have to struggle as hard as I did.
What legacy do you want to leave?
The legacy I want to leave is, that's a hard one. I thought about this for 4 years. The legacy I want to leave is that if you want to do it, just go and do it. Don't hold back, be true to yourself, don't change yourself for the environment that you put yourself in. Remember who you are. Yeah, just go for it. Like, what can you lose?
And it sounds like your community and your family did that for you when they said, just do it.
Yeah, just go.
Just go do it.
Yeah, I feel like the worst that can happen is that you fail. And then what? Just keep going.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So what are you most proud of to this point in your life?
The thing I'm most proud of. I remember I had the answer to this when I first read it. I'm trying to remember what that answer was. Oh, yes. I am most proud of building the community I built at Iowa State. This sounds so cliche and basic, but you really do need that support system. And if you don't have the community, and the university doesn't give you the community, go and build it yourself. It's possible. It's really possible.
I think this goes into our next question. What advice would you share for current and future first generation college students?
Current and first generation.
Current and future.
Current and future. Current and future. If you doubt yourself, you belong. You absolutely belong here. It's going to be hard. You will question a lot of things. And it's a good thing that you're questioning, because that means you're growing and you are observing the world around you. So you might seem lost, but you have so many people behind you. And yeah, that's all I have to say.